Hi, and welcome.
I'm Z,
And I'm Keith.
and we're going to tell you about the movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show. Hugh Grant and Capaldi both played the Doctor.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I was trying to look at trivia because I wanted to know if it was like all of Catherine Oxenberg's dialogue was ad-libbed, and I didn't see anything.
Oh, yeah.
Not ad-libbed, sorry. I mean dubbed over.
Yeah, right.
Because it all sounds like ADR.
Yeah, thank you, because...
I couldn't find any trivia about it, so I was like, okay.
I was going to see if there was something in the... That's why I was reading the Wikipedia.
Ugh.
So now you may as well pause, because I'm going to keep reading. Yeah, no mention of Oxenberg's ADR, but I don't want to read this quote.
Okay.
From Ken Russell, director. Russell insisted the film was a comedy. Quote, audiences don't realize my films are comedies until the last line has been delivered, and even then most people don't appear to get the joke. I would like to state that I actively encourage the audience to laugh along with White Worm.
Well, we did. Shit is weird.
I'll probably read about him and find out he was a horrible person, but
right.
I can't believe I haven't watched more of his films because holy shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of... I can imagine watching this movie as a teenager and being like, this is the stupidest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And then rewatching it, when my brain is fully formed or whatever. And I had more real life trauma after I've overcome real things in my life. Be like, oh, this is actually fucking ridiculous and amazing. There's a lot of... there's a lot of humor in it. Like it is. I think I said this when we were talking about Vamp.
Yeah.
How it's like it's a horror comedy, and I was like, oh no.
Right.
But it doesn't feel. It feels more like you're supposed to laugh, not like this is a jokey horror movie. Like a slapstick horror movie, it's not like Shaun of the Dead or whatever.
Right.
It's like, it's a movie that's in the genre of horror that's meant to make you laugh at stuff. So those things aren't as, I feel like when they don't focus too much on the humor, when they let you laugh and try to scare you or shock you or whatever, like that's when it's enjoyable for me. But when it's like, when they focus on the comedy and the horror becomes secondary, it's like, oh god, I don't care.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
It's fine.
I think putting humor in is a good,
for sure,
psychological tactic because it
absolutely
lets you relieve the tension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and it's something that like plenty of like straight up horror movies will do. Like Scream is a great example of like it is a horror movie that's a slasher film. It's not supposed to be like taken otherwise, but it pokes fun at the genre at the same time, and it makes fun of it, it mocks it, and especially Scream 2 is like They were
Yeah.
like, they just
Right.
literally are like, sequels suck, sequels are terrible, fuck sequels, never, you can never do any better. And it's so much, and I love Scream 2. I think Scream 2 is great. I think it's ridiculous. And so, like stuff like that where it's like they're not trying not to make it a horror movie. They're not trying to like
Yeah.
lessen the horror part of it. It's just like they're saying like, no, it's ridiculous. You can laugh at this,
Right.
and even, films like Terrifier and stuff like that. It is absolutely a horror movie. You're not watching that being like, is it horror? Can you really classify this
Right.
as horror? But there's also like hilarious and like ridiculous parts that, it is making you laugh in really crazy situations. Like you said, because I think that's an aspect of horror that people don't always want to admit to. Like, there is some part of you that, like, probably would laugh if you were in this situation because it would feel so surreal. And so, like,
Right.
and like, there's
You
probably,
gotta laugh.
there's probably like, people that watch it are like, oh my God, I can't believe that they'd make a joke at this time. There are people that are like, this is so terrible. I can't
Yeah.
believe that anybody would make a joke or like, but if you're the one going through it, you're going to probably have a dark shit ass sense of humor that a lot of other people.
Yeah, I don't know if you've met anyone who's survived horrible
exactly
events,
right.
but
Yeah, like the funniest people are the least okay.
typically,
like,
and the best in bad.
no, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Present company
Included. I've been through so much trauma, and I'm the best lay any bitch would ever have. I know that I say this all the time, but it's one of my favorite. Oh God, Catherine. Oh shit, what's her name? It's probably not Catherine. She was on Parks and Recs. She's the fucking Agatha. Like the whole. Oh God, she was in.
Ethel Beaver.
No,
Beavers?
no, not the old lady. The like.
Sorry, you said Agatha. That's an old lady name.
Yeah, the fucking Marvel Agatha all along shit. That okay, whatever. You and I.
Oh, Aubrey Plaza.
Other one.
Other one.
Yeah.
Rashida Jones.
No. The person actually playing Agatha.
I don't know who Agatha is.
Okay, it's fine. She was in Step Brothers. She's a really
Catherine Hahn. Yes.
Catherine Hahn.
Sorry, I forget
yeah.
she's
Right.
was on Parks.
But her character on Parks and Rec, she talks about going to her high school reunion.
Rise above their heads. Effect change at a higher level. Don't be the kid that graduates high school, hangs out in the school parking lot. Be the woman who moves away, climbs the ladder, and then confidently comes back and has sex with her hot old English teacher just for kicks.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, Mr. Baker. Sex was pretty good, thanks to me.
Thanks to me. I'm like, that is 100% me. I don't know why, but I'm like, yeah, I'm good at bed. Let's just say I'm probably the best you'll ever have. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why, but I'm like, yeah, I'm good in the sack. You'd be lucky. Like, this is psychotic of me, and you can bleep all this out if you want. But
I'm sure you had this. I assume this is what you're getting at. You had this opinion of yourself even before having sex.
No, not at all. Part of me is like, I think Martin Donovan should be able to get the chance.
He should be so lucky.
To experience sex this
Or
good.
that's how highly you think of him, is that he should
Yes.
be allowed the
Both.
privilege.
Yeah. I'm like, he should not die before he gets to ride this roller
that's right,
coaster.
yeah.
This should be the way he goes, I fully believe he would not survive it. And I'm willing to
There are starving children, and there's.
I'm willing to take that burden on. I'm willing to give him
My gift to the world.
such a psycho. I'm such a fucking weirdo. So Lair the White Worm. Peter Capaldi.
Woo!
There's
Well,
so
baby.
much.
Well,
Yeah,
baby.
I know. That's what I was saying. He's so baby in this. I'm like, how he's so infantile. It's insane to me. Like, just put him on my hip and show him things on the top of the
Oh my
fridge
God.
that he's never seen before because he's so baby. I mean, I've
The
never
most
seen
shocking
either.
part is not seeing him be just like a totally acerbic.
Fucking asshole. A little bit, but yeah, I know. That's all I've ever seen him do is just be the biggest asshole you've ever met in
He's
your
so good
entire
at it.
life. Yeah.
He's in the in the Loop. Oh, I think was the movie. In the Know was maybe the series.
Right, where he's like in politics or whatever, and
Yeah,
he's just
and oh god, he was so funny.
yeah.
So good in the. I tried watching the series a few years ago and couldn't get into it. It was too late.
Yeah.
It's the same guy who created Veep.
I was gonna say it's kind of a Veep kind of thing. God, Veep is one of those where I don't think I could watch it now. It was, even by the time we finished the series, it was a little too late.
Yeah.
But the fucking I think it's in either the last season or next to the last season when she says he he refers to vaginas as crinkum crankums.
To this day.
That's the best line ever. Like, I think Julie Louis-Dreyfus is so fucking funny. I know that she's a Nepo baby, but she is? I think, isn't she?
Richard Dreyfuss?
Yep. I think she just, comes from a lot of money. I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Don't be Annie Smith.
she's so fuck off. But I think she's so funny. She's someone that I would watch her in anything, and I would probably.
I never thought
she's
much of
so-
her until watching that. Honestly,
She's so.
I mean,
she's just
to me,
someone.
it was a strike against her that she was on Seinfeld. So.
Right. That was the thing. She was the only funny part about Seinfeld to me. Like, that was how I felt. I mean, I don't like Seinfeld at
Daughter
all.
of French billionaire Gerard Louis Dreyfus. Sorry.
Yeah. See, that's what I thought. I'm like, I don't know if it was like,
So she's a
yeah, she's like,
she's a Nick Kroll.
yeah, she's a true blue. What did you tell me about the guy from, what did you tell me? You told me about someone last night. What's the guy? Mantzoukas? Did you tell me
yeah.
Okay, you did tell me something. I didn't dream that. Okay.
No, that he and Jessica St. Clair were roomies in New York during 9/11.
Who's Jessica's? Oh, that's right. The person we both hate. Sorry, girl. Anytime you're in something, I want to break my television. It's really unfortunate to just hate someone based on everything that they do, down to the sound of their voice.
She had cancer.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
No.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. So did Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I believe. It's prevalent. Oh God, what were we? I don't know. This is going to be a hard one to talk about because I don't know. It does something that I can hate if it's done wrong, or I can enjoy if it's done ridiculously. And I feel like this movie does do it slightly ridiculously. So I excuse it a little bit, but like everybody's like, obviously the conclusion that we would make, and then it's the most preposterous thing you can think of. And the only reason I think, because I feel like there's an absurdity to this movie that allows for that to not feel like you're not supposed to think it's absurd. Like they're telling you this is a ridiculous thing that no one would actually think of.
Right.
And that's why, and I do like Mary, is it? Every time they're like, clearly it's got to be this ridiculous fucking premise. And she's like, are you insane?
Oh my God.
She's like,
Yeah,
literally, this is nonsensical, would never happen.
Well, I've heard of penis entry, but that's ridiculous.
Ha ha.
Scarcely that. Half male, half female. Capable of the ultimate self-fulfillment. Like Hermaphrodite. Or the common earthworm.
Or even the Dampton worm. That would explain how it might survive over hundreds, thousands of years.
This is getting daft. We could have stayed at home by the fire with a good biology book.
I was like, oh, I like this because it's saying this is absurd, and then it's literally saying this is absurd. Like it's letting you know, like, we know.
yeah,
It's fine.
exactly.
You don't have to,
totally.
We're aware. So I did, but that was something that I think if it had been done any less like or more obvious, I would have been like, ugh, come on. Like it was just
Yeah,
it was just
right.
at the peak of like being a little too far gone, but it wasn't for me.
To me, this compares nicely to The Keep. I think it would be interesting to
Okay.
put side by side, side by
okay.
each. Whereas I don't think Michael Mann has ever done anything in his life that he didn't take deadly seriously.
1,000 and I mean no one really seemingly knows how to have sex in this movie too, so that would line up perfectly.
Well,
with
no one
anything.
actually has sex in this movie, so
Right. Well, it's just where the things where they imply sexual things happening seem to be so confusing that you're like, do you know what you're implying? Because I don't know what.
you're talking about the white worm.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
like when?
Well, the Roman soldiers doing a heinous to the nuns was
Yeah,
that was very confusing because I'm like I feel like they're implying rape.
Mhm.
But it's not possible given what they were doing at the same time. They were just so far away from
you're overthinking it.
Exactly. That's what I mean though. It's like
Also, that was just a vision, not historical record.
No, I know, but that's what
That was a venom-induced hallucination.
I like that she just barely touched it and she's like, ugh. What my favorite part about that whole scene was, like my favorite part, not the vision, but the scene leading up to the vision, was how they focused so hard on her tripping and falling on her ass with the vacuum cord. She's just like, ugh.
Oh, is that what happened?
Fuck, why? Unnecessary. It's there for no reason. You've never seen it before.
I didn't know what that was because I didn't see it before.
Exactly. It wasn't there before.
No, I mean, I didn't see her trip on it. I saw it after the flash.
Yeah.
After the vision. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is on that? I think it's, I don't know, the tiny sliver I just read about Ken Russell. He seems to be a fan of Freudian themes.
Right.
Go figure.
Right.
It's probably there just to reference a white worm. To look wormy and white.
I'm sure, but it just looked. It was not there. You did not see it.
Yeah.
No one referenced it
Yeah.
before or after that. Not at all.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it. Like ridiculous. And she's just her feet are like, ugh. And I'm like, she was already falling. She was already thrown back. When it starts showing her tripping over that, I'm like, either way, she's falling. It doesn't matter. It's not. Oh my God.
Awesome.
Amazing. I loved it. But yeah, this is a movie. I don't know how to, like I said, I don't really know how to explain anything in this movie because it's like the logic of this movie is like, I dug 3 feet in your backyard and found the remains of
A Roman
fucking
colony or whatever.
Oh my God. And then clearly we can deduce from this that they all worshipped a white snake. So one actually lives here, and that's who ate both of your parents.
Yep.
What?
I do like... Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, also, I like the fact that Hugh Grant has lived there his whole life.
Correct.
Knows everything about the story.
Yeah, the legend.
Has no idea that the cave that he has a painting of on his wall is the same one that's just a couple feet away from where he lives.
I like that too.
Amazing. And best character,
Go on.
his fucking,
His man.
yeah, his manservant. Fucking
Peters.
Well, what do you think?
I recall his lordship's very words. That would charm the damned worm itself from its hole, Peters. I remember it worked extremely well with a king cobra, my lord.
And put your bicycle clips on, Peters. I'm expecting company.
Terrific.
Oh my God.
Hey, guess what? In the novel by Bram Stoker,
Yeah.
his manservant is a black African named Ulanga, who loves death and horrible things, and because of this, he stalks the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is different in the book. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And makes an advance towards her.
Yeah.
She rebuffs him.
Yeah.
And then kills him because she's so offended. She feeds him to the worm.
Wow. Oolongo loves death, like you like to quote or whatever.
Are they going to die? Yes, they're going to die, but Harry loves death.
The snitch leads them straight down into certain doom. Yes, they're going to crash, but Harry loves death. He says, bring it on. Harry is like a demon long dead with nothing else to lose.
Like, this is why, I don't mean this in like a pretentious way. We've talked about this before, like specifically with the Portrait of a Lady.
Yes.
Like, this is why people are like, I love reading H.P. Lovecraft. I tried, and I'm like, this is so racist. I can't read it. I can't read this shit.
You did? You tried to read it?
I tried to.
What?
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't remember. It's one where he has like, it was just filled with like anti-black, anti-native shit. It was so racist.
Yeah, he loves
and
talking about savages.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't care enough to. It was like he had like the head of something, and
yeah,
I didn't give a shit. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't give a shit about this story. And like people are like, well, if you look past that, I'm like, oh, it's cool. And it's fine if you can read it or whatever, and like whatever. But it's just I can't really. I'm like, as soon as they start talking about like someone's oppression just being like chill, I'm like, I can't relax and read this before bed. I'm gonna fucking want to hang myself. Like, sorry.
Well, which one is that? Yeah, there's often like,
and I mean,
wild savages dancing around a fire to some primal drums or whatever.
And like, it's fine to like read stuff like that to like. Sorry, I was just gonna say this is all to like analyze how like the differences of like okay, this is how we used to be talked about. This is how people used to talk about black folks here. This is how people used to talk about Africa. That's fine. I have no issue with that. It's just I'm not gonna read it to have fun.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, all I was gonna say is then he has horror at Red Hook, Red Hook is just a neighborhood in Brooklyn or something.
Right.
I don't know if it's Brooklyn or downtown or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know which borough it's in, so don't come at me, New Yorkers. I know you have so many listeners in NYC. That was just a multi-ethnic neighborhood.
Yeah. Sorry.
Fellas, this is why I don't speak.
Sorry.
Whatever. He was horrified by the...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, long story short, I assume he was just terrified all the time, and that's why he saw architecture as evil, and every every non-white, non-educated, non-white person as some kind of half fish alien hybrid, like.
Yeah.
I bet it wasn't a easy life, but that's not an excuse.
Oh, no. Yeah. Just
definitely racist.
Well,
and also he was writing 100 years ago. It wasn't like
right. Yeah. No, that's the thing when you said he must have had a horrible, like that's something like someone said once to me, someone very intelligent
obviously.
said once to me that like they wished that they could like be they were like, I wish I was the kind of person that could be, ignorant enough to believe in God because I'm sure you're so much happier. And I was like, no. I was like, that's not what I was like, they're in constant fear and it's constant anxiety. Like,
well, if you're doing it right.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I mean, just like to have something that you put your faith in like that. Like, I'm sure you just feel so good. I'm like, no. It's literally
Yeah.
the whole basis of most religion is fear mongering. I'm like,
Well,
specifically
let's not be
Christianity.
reductive.
And I'm like, no, that's not accurate. I'm like, these people, I was like, have you met any of these people? I'm like, trust
This
me.
has nothing to do with purity because I wasn't raised in the church.
I like morality. It has nothing to do with morality because
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I wasn't. I don't think you know what morality is. It's very funny to me that when people I mean, I will say, like, I'm not saying I didn't know that there was a difference between morality and ethics. I just didn't really pay attention. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't really seem that important. But then when you started talking about there's a difference between morality and ethics, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's a good point that, like, I just hadn't really put together.
Well,
and then like ethics are like about like a group. Like ethics have to do with like people and not like a singular individual idea, which is what morality is based on. Morality is just what your individual beliefs are. So anybody's morals, it's not wrong, not right. They're just how you personally believe, and they can be influenced by religion or not. But morality is an individual's personal beliefs and set of just like what they want, what they believe is right, and what they believe is wrong. But like, if any decisions that you're making are based on morals, you're not, like, for other people. I mean, if your decisions for other people are based on your own specific morals, you are probably a bad person. I know that sounds harsh, but it's like, you can't, like, if you're like, I wouldn't do this, but that's my own personal belief.
Yeah.
Like, abortion bans are based on people's morals, and people following abortion bans are based on people's morals, but it's not ethical.
Yeah, I mean, there's things, and I will say my take on this is, I don't know who I got it from. I know I got it from someone. That's not everyone's understanding of the distinction.
Right. Correct.
To
Yes.
be fair, and
Yeah.
like, moral relativism is, I think, at times controversial. Just saying, like, well, in this culture, they do this. I can't. Who am I to? When it's
Right.
It's controversial when it's things like female genital mutilation or
Right.
There's a difference between a taboo and
Yeah.
like that's
Right.
because we were talking about cannibalism because of that clip of that part in Blade when we were talking about Pearl and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck, really. I understand why it's a taboo. It's probably not good practice to eat other humans.
Correct.
It's not regulated by the FDA, guys, or the USDA.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting. Oh, sorry.
So just to put that out there, like the way I think, the person you're referring to that we're trolling, I would say she and I probably have a similar take on what morals are, even if I don't agree with what she's saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because she's aligning morals with
Religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the way I think about it, and again,
Yeah.
c'est moi.
Yeah.
It's wrong because it's wrong.
Right.
Objective.
Yeah. Correct.
Not because of how it impacts other
Correct.
people. I mean, of course there's going to be overlap, but like,
Right.
I can say murder is wrong.
Right. Yeah.
And that's going to be not terribly controversial.
Right. Yeah.
As a moral stance.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, this is an interesting thing. Like, my mom always presents very interesting ideas, and then does whatever.
20 years later, you grew
up. But she said something like, if you don't believe something is wrong, like if you don't believe it's wrong, but you just say that you're not going to do it, then it's likely that you will do it. Like, if you don't have a belief that it's wrong to do something, you're probably going to do it.
Right.
Even if you think you wouldn't, like if you're in a situation, you might do that thing. And I think that's a very, because it was like, I think it was like cannibalism came up, and it's like, I think it's wrong to do it or whatever, but I don't, like I understand why people do it in that in a situation where they have no choice of, like,
Right.
it's like, and so it's like, okay, well then you would probably eat people, just because if it's like, oh, sure, it's wrong, but
sign me up.
right. And I'm like, no, that's an interesting idea, but it's also like, I personally do not ever want to eat a person. Like, I don't actually think that I could, even if I was starving. I don't mean that in the sense of like I'm not saying that as a pat on the back. I'm saying like, I just couldn't do that. Like, I don't eat meat,
Right.
but I don't have, if you give me a slice of pepperoni and I'm hungry, I'll eat it. I don't have any moral qualms about that. I'm not like, oh, I don't know. Pepperoni's good. I just don't I don't care, enough to eat it. But like, if you are like, I know that you're starving, here's a person, I'd be like, ooh, that's okay. I don't like, I'm not like, I have like there's a difference in my brain between eating meat and eating a person. Like it's a, like whatever. I'm not making sense. But what I'm saying is I don't think that I could, but I'm not saying, but at the same time, I don't necessarily blame anybody for doing that in that situation. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So like, I don't necessarily think it's ethically wrong or morally wrong, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
That's my point, is that like a lot of times people think that your morals and ethics have to be so strong in order for you to not do something. Like, just because I don't care if other people do something does not mean that I'm going to do it, or that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't, and I think this is a thing, like, this is something where, I mean, I'm just on this because of political conversations, but abortion
all of
bans.
which are just so...
abortion bans
right now.
Like, I saw this TikTok where someone was talking about like abortion, like if like someone saying like they don't agree with abortion for, but like it was just sort of like a back and forth kind of thing. And it was like this person which they usually have, like, they're like an autistic creator, and they usually have more progressive points of view, and they do a lot of back and forth. Like, this is like, here's what an argument could look like from a different perspective, and like sort of like a back and forth. And it was them and several different creators. So it was a very interesting thing that I feel like it was filmed at different, like they all filmed it in their own spaces and just put it together, and it didn't look like it wasn't supposed, like it wasn't like
awkward.
Yeah, it was, anyway. But he's like, I don't agree with abortion, so I don't want to vote for someone who's gonna like allow abortion or whatever. And they were like, okay, well, what about when it's medically necessary or something like that? And he was like, well, of course there could be exceptions. And so it's going over like all of these things that can happen that could make an abortion necessary. And he was like, oh, well, an exception would need to be made. Oh, well, an exception would need to be made. And he's like, wow, these are a lot of exceptions that need to be made for this. And that's the point that I don't think people understand. When people are against abortion, what they see is someone like chopping off the head of a fucking baby. And that's literally not what abortion is. In a lot of cases, abortion is just what you call evacuating the fetus. And it can already
They're
be
lifting
dead.
it out.
Yeah. It like
a war-torn
you're just
uterus.
like, if the baby is already dead, it is not viable. There is no way you perform an abortion.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. Or like, if you're in a situation where if the pregnancy goes any further, the mother and the child will die, you would perform an abortion. But like, people don't understand that that's not a like, so many people have to have a medically necessary abortion that they don't want. Yeah. And a lot of people have no comprehension that because it's put into this, because there has been this.
Yeah, it's not.
Because
it's
abortion
never about it.
Right, but
That's the
abortion
thing.
has been argued as
Right.
a point of morality, when it's an abortion is literally just a pregnancy not going to term. That's literally a spontaneous abortion is the medical term for a miscarriage.
Right.
And it, it's just one of those things where, like, so people put morality on this word that has multiple meanings to it. And ethically speaking, if you talked about ethics, abortion, like banning abortion, is ethically unsound.
Mm-hmm.
Like regardless of what morals you have ethically, to ban abortion is to cause systemic harm to an entire group of people, and more harm to subgroups of those people. Correct. So like there's just so much going on, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, you can cut all that out. No one needs to hear how right I am. I've already said I'm really good in bed. Now I'm going on. Whatever. The White Worm, Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant also looks exactly the same as like he did throughout the 90s. I'm like, how did you, Peter Capaldi aged 40 years in like the span of 10 years. Hugh Grant de-aged 5 years in the span of 10 years. I don't understand. Like, yeah, it's very confusing to me.
This is one of his first films, I guess.
Capaldi or Grant? Okay.
Probably both, but I don't know. I don't know about Capaldi.
Probably a puke hair.
I didn't know anything about Donohoe. What's her first name? Before watching this, who plays Lady Sylvia or whatever.
Oh right, what do I know her from? I know her from something. She's so familiar. You said she dated Adam Ant or whatever.
When she was 15, she started dating Adam Ant.
Jesus Christ. Fucking she was just a fucking six pack. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. She had cum gutters. Like, how do you fucking like get the fuck out of here?
And just badass.
Oh yeah, I mean, ridiculous. I was almost sad that she croaked.
I know, right?
Liar.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my god.
She lived in the States for a while, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not surprised. Okay. That's what I was like. I was going to say I don't doubt it. And I'm like, what? That's stupid. Oh, she was in the Legend of Tarzan.
Not the Legend of Greystoke?
Correct.
Tarzan, Legend of Greystoke? With Christopher Lambert and Andy McDowell?
Yeah.
Did you see that apparently Oxenberg was supposed to be nude for the sacrifice scene? She refused and asked that the underwear be from silk and from Harrods, which is an upscale.
Oh my God.
And they were like, nah, you'll get what we can afford, which is cotton from whatever, some downscale.
Wow.
And she got cast because she had already been in Dynasty.
Oh, wow.
And so that was their attempt to put an American in this movie.
That's probably why she's been dubbed over, because they were like, we need someone that actually has an accent that. Because I
wonder if it's her or not.
Honestly, I was like, I wonder if it's the other actor, because they sound so similar. And I was like, I wonder
playing her sister?
Yeah. I was like, I wonder if they just had her do like a slightly like higher voice or something. I don't know. I was like, there's okay, first of all, when we were watching this, they have this scene where Mary is the fucking dinner scene, like when they have the White Worm celebration or whatever, and
the party,
all the dinner. Oh my God, it's just like raw octopus and fish heads, and then supposedly just
earthworms.
Yeah, worms. And like that's all and it
Rach.
looks like jello. It looks like what'd you say?
Rach? What's
No,
it
that's
called?
gach.
Gach.
It's gach. Is the worms.
Really? What's
Yeah.
Rach?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I'm missing a Ractogene.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, there's this green jello thing that just has
Yeah.
a bunch of black olives on it. I was like, oh my God. Oh, like it all looked so fucking disgusting. Like it looked like a bunch of like clams or oysters all around a fish head. Oh my God. So vulgar. Anyway, but they're walking home. Mary and Arthur or whatever, Argyle, whatever the
Adam.
fucking Adam.
Angus.
Angus.
Sorry, it's Adam in the novel. How about the religious, the Eve and Mary? Come on.
I know. So Mary and Angus are walking home and a car drives by with its headlights on.
Oh yeah.
And Mary's like, that's
scared the
so
shit out of me."
creepy. A car driving by without its headlights on. What?
And later
Hold
she
on.
describes it as having
And she's
hooded,
like, they have hooded headlights.
which to my understanding
Again.
is the kind that fold
Yeah.
down when they're
Right.
off.
And like, or, or at least have like, I don't know. I was like, none of those things are true.
I mean, they're kind of inset or whatever. Whatever. Her sick ass.
Yeah, her
Jaguar,
car
I
was
believe.
sick. If I'm gonna be honest, which I've not been until this point.
Oh fuck.
Just kidding.
Here comes some truth bombs.
I'm kind of sad that Lady Windermere or whatever did not survive. She was the best
You
part.
just said that already.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Who were you sad croaked? You said you were kind of sad that she croaked. And just badass.
Oh yeah, dude, I mean ridiculous. I was almost sad that she croaked. Maybe I don't remember.
Are you high?
No, I didn't take any drugs. I just have a headache. I did. I said that. Oh my God.
I mean, we were talking about Amanda Donohoe.
Oh, okay. It was a while ago.
Donohoe.
It was. I didn't just say it like as I was.
Oh,
It was like a few.
I'm
minutes
sorry.
ago.
It was like 30 seconds.
No, that's not true. I'm gonna look at the timestamp. I'm gonna tell you exactly how long it was too, and you're gonna be like, well, it seems little bitch.
Maybe it was I checked out. I blacked out for a second.
I believe that. I do it enough to you. I feel so bad sometimes because you'll be fully exactly. You'll be telling me something, and I don't know how to tell you that I haven't been listening. So I feel really bad. Specifically and more like sometimes I have to just stop you, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was reading and the TV's on, so you were talking to me, and I don't know what words you were trying to say. If I can read while the TV's on, no problem. But as soon as Keith is like words, I'm like, whoa, 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 what's going on? What's happening? I get very overwhelmed. It's very.
What's wild to me is sometimes I say things, no response at all. I don't say anything. There are things I've said by this time. I've said we've had whole conversations that are one-sided because of the amount of times I've just like I'm not gonna wake them. It's not that important.
I feel so bad. I truly I don't like the other day I was listening to for maybe like the 7th or 8th time I was listening to The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I was doing the dishes, but I was listening to it on my noise canceling headphones, and Keith comes out
The
and
bane of my existence was headphones.
Keith comes out. I see him come out, but he starts doing something and
I
laughing.
was going.
Yeah, you making armpit farts and laughing, but then his mouth starts moving, and I was like, I can't do this right now. I was like, I don't know what you need. I was like, I can't touch my headphones. I can't hear you. My hands are. I was like, I don't know what you need, and I was like freaking the fuck out because I was like, I felt like he was putting on a comedy performance just for me. And I was like, all I'm hearing are the girls fighting, you know? Like, I need. like,
1963 E-Type Jaguar is what Lady Windermere drives.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sylvia Marsh is the character name.
Oh, Lady Marsh, your thing's gonna fall off.
Your thing's gonna fall off.
I don't know. That's your phone. It's not. Okay.
Joke's on you. That thing fell off.
Yeah, I knew. Look, one time, it was our first.
One time.
It was our first winter together as a coital couple. And
concubine and
I set my phone down on the counter and it was slightly askew and it slid off, fell face down onto the floor and shattered. Like not like split, it like literally was like I picked it up and glass embedded into my finger. Like it was broken beyond, well, not beyond repair because Keith took me to the repair shop and bought me
the guy
screen.
threw a phone case across the room. Just mangy ass fucking.
He was like, watch this. And he threw the phone case across the room and was like, see? And I was like, it's empty. You threw an empty phone case across the room to prove to me how durable it is with a phone. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And the way he flung that fucking thing, I was like,
does this work on college girls? Is that why you do this?
Like when
yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. I was hooking up with a guy one time. Well, we'd hooked up. And he found like a pencil or something and he held it up and he goes, watch this. And he starts, doing the thing like what you do when you're in like 6th grade where you move a pencil and it looks like it's wavy, but it's just
like you're fucking Uri Geller.
Sure. And I just looked at him and I said, I was like, you usually do that for girls who are stoned, don't you? And he was like, yeah. I was like, it's not working on me. And he was like, oh. I was like, yeah. I was like, good try though. I was like, good try. We've already hooked up though. You don't have to. You don't have to write over. It's fine.
This movie is ridiculous and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The opening sequence or whatever, that whole scene around the hole, and when she comes out, and then is that Mary? Supposed to be Mary that comes out in her,
No,
Eve.
Eve, yeah.
Comes out in her apron.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm like, this feels like a satire of what Americans think the UK is like.
Yeah, right. It's so.
I mean, a little bit. I'm sorry to say, it's a little bit the actress that plays Mary. Her voice.
It was quite
That's
pungent or whatever. I don't know.
Don't worry, it's only an old fossil. It won't bite. Sexy beast, isn't he? The caveman, I mean.
If that's a primitive man, it looks like a dinosaur sat on him.
It is a dinosaur, I think.
Oh, go pull the other one.
Oh, Dad had a cow look like that once called Bessie. I reckon that's Bessie.
Silly moo, that's not a cow. It's got no horns.
Miss Spotted Dick.
Let's see what she looks like.
I felt like I could smell her voice. You know what I mean? Like it was so strange. I was like, something's weird. I feel bad though, because I have a voice where if people hear it, they often recoil in fear,
More like disgusting.
Thank you.
My experience.
And so, I don't want it wasn't even like her voice, but just like she would say words and I wanted to be like, shh, stop. No, what are you saying? Can you talk slower and a little like it was so I couldn't it was like I knew that she was saying words and I could recognize that she was saying words, but not what they were. But it was like I know it's not like, when you hear someone speaking another language and you're like, oh wait, I know just enough of this to get it. It was like the opposite of that. It's like you're supposed to be speaking English, but I feel like
That's right.
that's not what's happening. And it was so
Robbing the English language of my comprehension of
I'm
it.
like, I don't know what I know that you're speaking the language that I speak, but I don't know how, like it's somehow there's some
The
disconnect.
thing is, it's not like her accent is
I know. That's what was so I
hard
was
to
like,
understand.
I was so I just was like, what are you fucking talking about? Like it was like the words she was
perfect
stringing together
description.
were like it was like
It's like having a learning disability.
no. Those videos? I love these videos. I mean, top tier comedy to me of what people who speak other languages think English sounds like. That's exactly. I was like,
yeah, right.
I was like,
exactly. Yeah.
this is only not offensive because this is the language that I speak. So it's
right.
So it's funny, but like, what are you? I was like, what? It was so frustrating because I was like, I feel like I know what you're trying to say, but that's not what's happening.
Right.
It was so.
Well, and I fully admit I'm embarrassed by this fact, but if you throw multiple UK accents at me at once, I'm completely lost. I can't
That's
decode Scottish
Yeah.
and whatever hers, like a
Yeah. Northern or Welsh or anything like that. Yeah. 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 No, that's true. I'll be like, sometimes I feel bad because I have a good ear for stuff like that. Sometimes I can be wrong. Like if it's super thick and I can't even understand the words you're saying, maybe I'm not going to necessarily get the accent perfectly. But I'm good at picking it up, but sometimes I'll be like, clearly these, like someone will be like, oh, this Irish guy. And I'm like, Irish. LOL, that's funny. And, then it's like, oh, he's Scottish. And Keith will be like, oh, I didn't even know it was either one of those, And I'm like, oh, sorry. I'll be like, right. And, clearly, and Keith's like, I didn't.
No, like.
I have no idea.
It took me a while to even. I was like, is Capaldi doing an English accent?
Yeah.
It took several lines before I heard any Scottish accent.
Yeah. I mean, I think that can happen with Scottish, like depending on where you're from or like the kind of accent you have, you can, if only certain words you're like, oh, that's clearly not. Yeah.
And then you got motherfuckers like Sam Neill and
yeah.
Hugo Weaving who are not from any of those places that sound like they could be from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, and Ken Russell is English.
Okay.
Despite his name sounding like the name of a American character in a Japanese video game. You know what I mean? Like he could be
I really wish I could.
In Street Fighter.
We haven't done recommendations yet. So I was like, oh, I wonder.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
Here.
Would you recommend this movie?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's got some. Yeah.
It wasn't until she touches the venomized crucifix.
Yeah.
And has the vision that I'm like, oh, that's where we were.
Yeah. When she
different movie from the
when she hissed and sprayed the crucifix, I was like,
oh well, yeah.
Oh, I was like, okay. I was like, this is taking a turn that I'm here for.
Yes.
But that's when I was like, oh. The visions, any visions were ridiculous. I mean, top tier, amazing, love it. But ridiculous. What are we in the grocery store letting each other?
Oh, God. That one hurt.
I would say this is probably on the list of all the movies that we've done. This is probably the least vampiric of all of them because they do mention.
Well, we keep.
No. I mean this month.
This year.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do they do mention
if you get bitten, you get
it's
vampiric
like
symptoms.
vampiric. Yeah.
She's in bed now, resting. But it's evident her poor mother was less fortunate. For when the venom attacks the nervous system, the victim appears to be afflicted by a form of vampirism.
And so
That's
I was like,
about it.
okay. I was like, okay. I was a little worried. I was like, oh, are we just fully not? But I was like, okay. You know.
Me too. I mean, I found it because it was on a list of vampire movies.
Yeah.
You know?
And I was like, but I was a little bit like, oh, this will be. I mean, I wasn't gonna be like, oh, we shouldn't have watched it or anything. But I was like, oh, this will be an interesting discussion on like, is vampirism? Does it have to be stated in order for it to count, or
Right.
like stuff like that. So I guess yes. No. But yeah, it had like a lot of interesting. We haven't talked about anything in the movie really.
No.
Because I don't even know how. Like that's the thing. This movie is so.
Sorry, guys.
I don't.
That's
wanna
what a
say
lot of these movies are like.
I don't want to say this movie's convoluted because that sounds negative, but there's so much happening that isn't. I like this because I hate over explanation, but there's a lot of stuff that they do that they don't necessarily explain before they start doing it or show you that they're doing it. So you'll be like, what's going on? What, like Hugh Grant being like, which of these is Snake Charming, you know? And you're like, okay, where's everybody else at? Right. You're like, where's everybody? I was like, wait, you just were talking about like it's so confusing. I'm like, I don't understand. Why is he just like chilling out in his house?
Yeah.
And then he puts it on, and then it cuts to speakers on the outside of the house. Fucking, and he's trying to lure her. Oh my God.
Okay, we talk about the harmonica.
Oh.
It's enough of that, Kevin. That sort of music freaks me out.
Capaldi pulls a badger out of his crotch or something?
A mongoose.
What?
Where's it come from?
What?
Apparently, in the novel, snakes start. So you've got the lady who's the servant of the worm. Right. I think in the book she actually is the worm or something. I don't know if it's.
That's what I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
You know, these are landed gentry people, right? So that means, you know, they have a manor that's on acres and acres of property. So like the Hugh Grant character in the novel, the analog, they all have different names, and it's anyway, similar character. They're neighbors, but it doesn't mean they ever see each other. But in the novel, it's not him. It's it would be like the family. It would be like the Mary and Eve. In the book, it starts with an Australian dude who has a great uncle in the UK, and the uncle has no heirs, so he reaches out to this guy so that he can, you know, connect.
Yeah.
So the guy goes to England, and he would be in the place of Capaldi's character, sort of.
Yeah.
He's not an archaeologist or anything. He's just whatever. Point being, snakes start showing up on the uncle has livestock and shit.
Yeah.
And they're getting killed, presumably by snakes. They keep finding snakes on the property.
Okay.
So I think it's the Hugh Grant character, who's also kind of the mayor or whatever, starts buying mongooses because they hunt and eat snakes.
Yeah.
So he's got all these mongooses or whatever. And he's also losing his mind. And when he keeps the mongooses in trunks when he's not
letting them loose.
Yeah. And that's one thing that Oolanga does is he takes a chest thinking it's full of gold or whatever.
Oh, and it's
bring to lady lady. And of course, she just rips him apart with her bare hands.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure.
And yet he's the savage.
Right, yeah. I'm sure with his obsession with death, he would be happy about his.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair and accuracy in reporting. I'm gonna look this up. I think mongooses are native to the Indian subcontinent. So that has especially nice mammals of Africa and Asia. Colonial implications.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, because it's music related. First of all, the Boy Scout thing, that whole sequence is great.
Yeah.
Poor kid. Apparently, he was going to be nude and full frontal nude.
Yeah.
And then got cold feet.
Yeah.
She gets charmed by him playing the harmonica.
That's just
Charmed.
Yeah.
Although I'm unclear about what she spits venom and can infect people with her bite.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how did that happen?
She bit him on the dick.
No. How did she get these abilities?
See, that's why I thought she was going to be the.
Yeah. Is it meant to be implied? Because in the folk's tale, the worm was cut in half by the guy, Hugh Grant's ancestor or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So is she supposed to be one half?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Or did she drink the worm's blood or something?
Yeah, no idea.
I do love the ending.
It was meant to be open-ended. I saw that before the ending happened, and I got a little spoilered.
Oh.
But I did.
I was laughing the entire time because it's so obvious where it's going and done so.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It was like the ending is supposed to be left open, and I was like, oh, I don't want to read, because I was just trying to find anything that had to do with Oxenberg's ADR. And I was like, oh, I don't want to see it. But I was like, oh, are they implying that, it's open-ended. Duh. That's because that's what it was meant to be.
And, of course, the, quote, Turkish music that he plays over his loudspeakers from his turntable.
Yeah.
Playing his father's, certainly, those, well, I don't know about certainly. But he's got my father's collection of records from North Africa and...
Yeah.
What else does he say? I don't know if he says... Anyway. Yeah, the manservant is amazing.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the venom, the antidote.
Anti-doodlebug.
No. So my research included learning about some Yugoslavian history, which is already an interest of mine because of the non-alignment movement, non-aligned countries during the Cold War, of which Yugoslavia was one, while also being communist. That's how that interest started. They had a monarchy. To me, it was wild. This came up because Oxenberg. Her mom is Princess of Yugoslavia or something like that. You're so checked out. Okay, we could stop.
No. I'm not. I'm her mom.
It's fine.
Princess of Yugoslavia. You told.
I know you know this. I know I already told this to you.
I know. That's why you could say it to the.
Well, I know you have a headache or your head hurts.
I do have a headache and my head does hurt, but you can say the rest of your story, or whatever it is.
It's a long story. It's okay.
But
turns out Yugoslavia exists. I didn't know Yugoslavia. I didn't know the Balkans were united as Yugoslavia prior to communism.
Okay.
They were united as a monarchy between the wars.
This is the only time I feel like you have boy autism and I have girl autism. I don't.
Mom talk is girl autism.
Yeah, it is.
Yugoslavia, boy autism.
Yeah. No, I feel bad when you start talking about it. It's similar to talking about directions. When you start talking about places and things like that, like geography and history combined, it's like it's like it feels like the dialogue, Mary's dialogue in the movie. I'm like, I don't know. I don't
I think that's
understand a lot of it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to already know and what I don't.
Right.
I'm like, there's too many questions to know which one to ask first.
Yeah.
You'll start talking about places and I'm like, I didn't know that was a real place.
Right.
You just said the Balkans and I'm like, I've heard that phrase. I don't know what it fucking means.
Yeah.
Don't explain it. It's not an invitation. I'm just admitting my no.
I know. I'm sorry.
But it's when you're like, you're so checked out. I don't know how to listen.
So it's like a learning disability.
It's like one, yeah. I legitimately, it's like when you're like, this place, I'm like, I don't know. It's fully, like, I'm like, I don't know. Because it's so overwhelming. It's like you would have to show me a map and then explain to me what a map was.
Oh, that's not an invitation? No. Because that sounds like so much fun right now.
It sounds like hell on earth to me. Let's go over what, like, I don't. People will be like, oh, most people don't know all the countries of the world. I don't fucking know all the states in the United States, okay? I couldn't tell you. Oh, what's the capital of? I don't know. I don't know what the capital of the state I live in is, okay? And it's not because I haven't been told. I don't fucking care. And you could tell me so many times, and you know what? I'm already not listening. I feel bad. I'm dumb on this. It's fully acknowledging my own fault in this, but it's like I like it's something. It's literally like a switch just goes to off, and it's like full. I just start thinking about. I'm like, oh, what was that one episode of Mom Talk? Like, I'm like, oh, didn't they say? And you'll be like, and I'm like, yep, and then you'll be like, were you listening? I'm like, you can do this, and I'm like, Balkans. Yugoslavia. Yeah, I was listening. No, I wasn't listening.
It's actually pretty good. Better than usual. Better than most times.
I feel so bad though because I just I
have to say it's a thing that
I don't understand how it's interesting to anyone. Like I'm so happy that you are interested in it, but you'll start telling listing all the countries in some place. And then you're like, I forgot this one. And then like a couple, and I was like, don't. And then you're like, start over. And I was like, cool. I'm so happy for you. I feel so bad. I just don't understand. Like you start talking about it. I don't know how.
This is how I find out.
No, I feel bad. I truly feel bad because I'm like, how do I make myself a better person? I don't.
Let me sit. Let me try to get this out.
Please. Just try.
I feel like I've always struggled with it. I think it's a fairly recent, we can call it unmasking, have you.
Yeah, no, I think fully, yeah.
But I relate to the, like, I don't know where are these places? My relatively new interest in it is spurred on by the fact that I don't know, and I feel like I should, and I want to.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily easy
Right.
for me.
Yeah. Which is where I feel bad because I know you.
And that's why I bring it up a lot, is to help myself remember.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I don't stop you, because I know that you're like, I'm doing something that I'm proud of, and I'm like, huh? But it's like, this is what it is. It's like you're combining names, which I don't know how to retain, and directions, which I don't understand, and you're combining them.
That's a hard one for me.
And then telling me about them, and I'm like, I don't.
I can live with the fact that you. I'll suspend my disbelief, and accept that you will never be able to read an analog clock face. But
I can read it. It just takes a few minutes for me to remember.
And by then, the time has changed. That minute hand moves so fast.
I'm going to tell you this. Those are the clocks I was taught on. It's not like I didn't have an analog clock. I was raised on those clocks.
Okay.
No, this is what I'm saying. I don't fucking know what happened. I'm like,
I see.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I know, but I've struggled, like, since I've been taught with those clocks, I'm like,
Is it because it's birds and not numbers?
No, it's numbers and birds, isn't it? Isn't it
No.
both? Oh, I didn't even notice there were
There are
numbers.
mustaches.
I did not notice
How about
there
that
were
pocket watch?
Yeah.
New Lamp felt inclined to gun and fight in foreign wars. He joined a troop of knights that cared, but now there was no scars. And off he went to Palestine, where queer things him befell, and very soon forgot about the queer worm in the well. Wish, lads, had you gobs, I'll tell yous all an awful story. Wish, lads, had you gobs, I'll tell you about the worm.
I don't know who acted it.